G'day ladies and gentlemen, it's Duckville here. We've got some Heart of the Swarm action, of course, coming up. It is going to be a Protoss versus Terran, starting at the bottom left-hand side. Here is our red Protoss player. Playing for Team FXO, it is Desrow. I'm assuming this is Desrow. I was actually told that Desrow's brother also plays, so I'm assuming that this isn't his brother. Just because of this like super high level that we're going to be playing at here. He is going to be playing against one of the Terran players I love to watch. He is also very informative on Inside the Game and some of the shows. He is EG's Demuslim, our blue Terran player up at the top right hand side of Daybreak. So see what these guys get up to here. Of course, we'll probably see just some very standard sort of stuff. I don't think either of these players are very well known for cheesy sorts of things at all, so I'm assuming we won't have anything of that variety coming out on the table for the time being, which gives me a little bit of a time to rant for a moment. Of course, you would have seen in some of the previous videos I have been linking and shouting out and talking and all this sort of stuff about the After Hours Gaming League and the So You Think You Can Cast competition, which goes hand in hand with the AHGL season. We have now come to the playoffs, and of course the quarterfinals have been casted. It has been a whole bunch of fun. You can find the casts over on AfterHoursGaming.tv. I did a match between Microsoft and National Instruments. It was a pretty cool series. We had some interesting plays in a couple of the games there, but hopefully you can jump on board, have a quick look, and then you can also vote for me. If you like the cast and would like to see me move through to perhaps cast the semi-finals as well, then you can jump on there. There is a little like button next to the profile of me on the caster page on the AHGL website. I'll put a link for that just here. You can go and press the like button, and then we have a little voting competition, me versus Mr. Llama, and hopefully I can win that and we can have a little bit of a laugh about it. It's all for good fun. Of course, the teams themselves are playing for charity. The winner of the grand final will get the prize money that was put up going to their charity of choice. So it's all in good spirits. It's all good fun. There's nothing too crazy all about it, but it has been quite an entertaining thing to do, to cast some interesting community games. Of course, you would have seen some links to it on Day 9's Day 9 Daily. So yeah, hopefully guys can have a look at that. But let's get back to this game. Of course, we can see that Desrow is looking to go for just a simple little one gate expand here. He's only got one gas inside the main. This SCV of Demuslim nicely placed to block the Nexus for the time being. Of course, the interesting thing is that back inside, Demuslim hasn't actually noticed yet that there isn't really enough minerals to get this going just as of yet. Desrow has actually, he's just sort of continued the production of units right now. He's got a Stalker on the way. The Warp Gate tech is still researching right now. The money will certainly come up for the Nexus in just a moment, but Demuslim has been doing a really good job of just keeping this SCV in the way, making sure that just in case Desrow had skipped on some of those units, or perhaps even some of his workers, that he wouldn't be able to put that Nexus down. But back at home for Demuslim, of course, simple little one racks expand. Imagine a one factory that expand. That'd be interesting. One racks expand. Of course, we've got the command center just finishing up along with a bunker as well. A few marines here to defend. Looks like they will push out, maybe get a little bit of a kill on this probe if possible. Looks like the SCV just warding off the back, but no, gets taken out by Desrow, and the few units now move inside. They have a little bit of a fight on the ramp. I don't think the Desrow is going to be able to pick off anything here. Unfortunately, the Stalker is just not quick enough to catch up with that marine. Just gets inside. He is a little bit low on health, but he'll be happy that he is home safe inside that bunker. And we will probably just move on to the next phase of this particular matchup. Now, in TVP, of course, a lot of players still loving to use the biotech. You do see some Widowmine drops from time to time. I don't really see people using Hellbats as much anymore. Of course, if you were playing through the beta of Heart of the Swarm, you would have had to deal with the very famous and very annoying the Hellbat drop, which actually decimated Worker Lines. And as we can see, Desrow does get a little bit of a kill, a second SCV kill going down there for him, but Demuslim does force it back and will be able to resecure his mineral line there and continue in his macros. So that, as I was saying, the Hellbat drop doesn't really happen too much anymore. Perhaps someone could pull it out just for old time's sakes and really surprise someone. But generally what you see these days is just a standard sort of transition into a bio play. As we can see here, a factory going down, making way for the starport to come shortly after, I would assume. No eBay just yet from Demuslim. In fact, he's just started up on the stim tech, so that's only just coming along now. So we're just looking at perhaps that sort of 11-minute timing that you generally do see. A couple of medevacs, some Marines and Marauders will probably come out from Demuslim. He'll try and look to push across the map. Meanwhile, for Desrow, looks like back at home for him. We've finished up the natural, gotten some probes mining away here at the minerals and both of the gases as well. So he has gone straight into that heavier gas tech here, following up with the Twilight Council and the Forge. We do have the Robo, which of course has sent across an observer so that Desrow can have a quick look and just double check what's going on inside the main base here. We'll see if Demuslim is adept enough to scout out that is there, but I don't think he's actually looking for that just at the moment. He won't scout it out just at the current time, but Desrow will be able to see. We've got the factory coming along, the reactor being built up there, along with a couple of reactors on these racks there too. So it is going to be just that simple sort of play coming out of Demuslim to open us up. Nice little bio play, but with no upgrades coming along just at the moment. The eBay is only just finished up actually, so we'll see what he's going to do about that. Desrow, meanwhile, continuing to pick up his tech. We've got the +1 armor and blink tech being researched right now. No real look towards... Oh, there you go. I was going to say no real look towards the higher tech, but with the Robo Bay just being built right now, it looks as if he should have a Colossus out in time to defend against the push, which is inevitably going to come very soon from Demuslim. The first two medevacs getting started out in the starport just now, along with +1 weapons. In fact, this should actually time out quite nicely. I sort of misread exactly what Demuslim was going for, but just having a look at the work account for now, we've currently got Demuslim sitting on a total of 41 SCVs right now. Of course, he does have the mules adding to the mix here, bringing him up to a nice total of around about 1,400 minerals coming in, roughly somewhere around about that. For Desrow, he's currently sitting on 50 probes, of course, just a slight amount ahead, given the fact that he does have the chrono boost, and he's able to get those units out a little bit faster. And as you can see, he is going to pick up the first Colossus on the way now, just as Demuslim is now moving out himself. He's got a decent count of Marines and Marauders here. We've currently got 20 Marines, 6 Marauders. We've got a Marine just scouting ahead, wants to see if he can find out. He's on the drugs there, but he wants to just scout out if the third base is already in construction, because of course, if it is, then he's probably going to swing around and go directly for that third base instead of pushing in here at the natural. So we'll see how Demuslim is going to deal with this. It looks like there are a couple of those sentries up at the top of the ramp. The Colossus just finishing up around about now with +1 on the armor as well as the blink tech. So Demuslim is now going to look to try and push in. He will see how far he can get. A couple of good force fields there from Desrow, and with a time warp there, I don't think this is going to go too well for Demuslim. He may just need to get out of there quick smart, and he does. Picks up the majority of his units here, activates the Ignite Afterburners, but one of the medevacs does fall down. So Demuslim is going to be, well, you know, a little bit upset about that. The fact that didn't really get too much done, but what he has done is it is blocked off the third base for now. So he is going to be able to keep up in the economic stakes. He does have his own third orbital command constructing right now. He's also got the armory just about to finish up so that he can get started on his +2 on the upgrades for the infantry weapons and armor very soon. So this game this has been very standard. If you've been used to the way PvT played out in Wings of Liberty, this is all very standard for you. Of course, this is part of the way that this matchup hasn't really changed too much. As we said, you do tend to see some Widow Mines come out from time to time as some of the Terran players like to use those, but it looks like Demuslim is just going to go with the standard sort of drop fire coming in through the back. Stalkers coming across, and another medevac is lost there by Demuslim. Unfortunately, the Desrow Blink Stalkers just coming along in the nick of time, picking off that medevac before it can get too far away. And, well, you know, that gives Desrow a really nice position right here. He does have a lot of tech in the background, of course, investing in a second forge. We've got the +1 weapons about to finish up, along with the Templar Archives getting the Storm and Charge just about to finish. So, looks like our Terran player is going to have to need to just sort of be careful with the way that he's playing this. Of course, he does have quite a lot of racks inside the main. We're going up to a total of 7 racks, 3 of them with tech labs. Of course, we've got a couple with those reactors as well. And now with his third base just landing, he is going to be boosting up his economy and will be putting himself in, you know, not exactly a leading position, but he'll be keeping very much in check with what Desrow is up to. So we sort of see these players just playing very even keel at the moment, with the work account of Desrow up to 61. Of course, just transferring some of these probes across to the third base now. So he is going to secure that third. And, of course, you know, a 3-base Protoss becomes a lot more scary compared to a lot scarier, I should say. There we go. Compared to a 2-base Protoss when you're that Terran player. But as we can see with Desrow, well aware of what's going on. He knows that this third base is here. Can even see some of these attacks that are coming through the southern portion of the map. And he's just going to be well aware. Of course, we've got a Templar here for feedback. We've got a couple of Zealots on the ground as well. So Desrow just preparing for the possibility of those side attacks coming in with the Medivacs and with some of those fire forces while he gets his own tech up and running, while he gets this third base economy established. And he is looking pretty good right now. 63 probes are up and running for Desrow. He's currently sitting at 141 supply, so he is a little bit behind his opponent. But with all this tech now coming up behind all of this, it looks as if that is where his main investments have gone to. Picking up a lot of tech, of course. These Zealots now have got 101. They're about to get the 202 in just a second here, once those upgrades finish up, and we'll see if that's in time to defend against this attack. It looks like Demuslim has decided the time is now, wants to go in. We've got a couple of Marines. I'm not sure what these Marines are for, but they're sitting off to the side here. We also have some more units that have been macroed up. Demuslim just doing a wonderful job with all of these racks that he has. In Desrow, perhaps in a little bit of a misplay, has actually moved to the wrong position here. The attack now coming through straight into the third base. Demuslim sensing weakness here, going straight in for that Nexus, just pounding away. The stim going off. The units just microing back and forth, left and right, trying to avoid storms, Zealots, and the Colossi. And in fact, the Vikings have been doing a wonderful job for Desrow. Coming in through the back, he's got the Templar in the War Prism, just putting down some really nice storms. And it looks like he may hold this back. Unfortunately, a lot of the Zealots have gone down, but with a couple more storms, it looks like Desrow is going to polish off the majority of these forces from Demuslim. But I mean, what a really good attack by Demuslim. He wasn't able to take down the Nexus there, but he was able to take down quite a lot of those heavy forces of Desrow. And with Desrow now, just he'll need to be a little bit more cautious about this third base here, of course. You know, with the issue being that he has lost those Colossi, those very powerful units. He's getting another one out now, and still does need to be aware of the drops down at the southern edge of his base. But Demuslim, his macro just going off the hook here. He's up to 160 supply, 162, continuing to just smash out units out of all of these reacted barracks and the tech labs. We've also got a lot of medevacs on the way as well. So he's sensed, you know, because he has destroyed those Colossi that were out for Desrow, he knows that he doesn't have to put so many Vikings out on the field. He still has a huge total. 8 Vikings are still out here for our Terran player from EG, and it looks as if he will need to drop them down on the ground if he wants to utilize their extra little bit of damage that they have. But another Colossus has come out, and as you can see, it looks like Desrow is going to have to be very careful with his movements here. We want to see those Stalkers perhaps move to the back of the pack because they don't want to get in the way of the Zealots, but they are going to blink forward, take a couple of shots at one of these Vikings, taking out one. Does force him to lift up as well, and as we can see, looks like the stim is going to go off. Demuslim just says, you know what, it is go time, going to split up some of these units, come in for a huge flank on all of these attack forces of Desrow there, and does get inside, gets some really good damage done, but in comes that Prism. Desrow with the Storm Drop, doing a wonderful job, picking off quite a lot of the units there. But well, he does look like he has been quite successful in that defense and is able to hold up that middle position of the map. We've got a lot of back and forth between these two players. It's partially based on the fact that Demuslim has been doing a wonderful job with keeping up the production of these units, still sitting on around about 150 supply here. Desrow up at 141 himself. Of course, he does have these powerful Archons in the mix now as well. 202 on their upgrades, and that is going to be something very, very difficult to deal with right now. So 4 Archons here for Desrow. Looks as if there will be. No, I thought there was a drop inside the main base, but no, it wasn't, not just as of yet. But the third base of Demuslim still uncontested, completely uncontested here. He's also got his 4th with a planetary fortress on that. We're going to go for a 5th very soon as well, I would assume. But in fact, Demuslim, it's time to go. He says straight into the main. He's not going to worry about any sort of attack on the 4th base. He's just going to drop straight in on this main base. But with a storm there, it does polish off a couple of those Terran units. But I think that Desrow is going to lose his main Nexus, not to mention probably a couple of these main buildings in here. But a Colossus coming along, not sure that's the best position for you to be in, buddy. And he tries to start a step back, but not good enough. The Marines and Marauders stimming up, and it looks like Demuslim, well, he should have effectively done the damage here. Along with this, he's gone straight through to the 4th base with that excellent macro. He's got another large task force of units that are pushed in here, and he has been able to just keep everything, well, pretty much everything alive that actually matters right now. These medevacs able to speed away their natural base base in huge amounts of trouble right now, and with the 4th base gone, Demuslim going up to 4 bases of his own and just mining away brilliantly right now. It looks like our Terran player may be able to take the win here. He's up at 165 supply. GG from Desrow, and that will end this PvT for us here today. Of course, as I said before, make sure you jump onto the AfterHoursGaming.tv website, have a look at the voting there for the So You Think You Can Cast competition. Hope you've all enjoyed that. Look for more new content coming up very soon. We're going to change things up and add some more, maybe some more guides, some predictions, vlogs, and things like that on the channel. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you all next time. Sometimes the anion pulse crystals doesn't actually matter as much. It's very dependent on micro. This is definitely one of those things where if you have superior micro, you can find ways to beat the anion pulse crystals, but generally 9